Hi everyone, it's Jessica Dybzinski. Thank you for watching with me today. I am participating in the Close to My Heart Twisted Sisters YouTube collaboration, and we are all picking different products from the new January and February catalog to show a little twist on. I picked this thin cut here. This is the 3x3 photo frame. Now in the catalog, I'll show you how they have done the artwork with it. It's really beautiful. It's kind of meant to look like a Polaroid picture, and then you can do those stamped scenes as like the picture part. But I thought it would be fun to twist it and use it to make a shaker element on my scrapbooking layout today. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I've pulled a couple of other new products to use on my layout as well. This is probably my favorite new stamp set. It is the snow mice, and there is a sentiment on there that says, keep calm and wait for snow. And I thought that would be so perfect to go along with the 8 photos that I have pulled for this one-page layout today. There's just a little dusting of snow that is going on outside, and the kids were like so bound and determined to go out and play it anyway. So I've also pulled, this is a piece of pattern paper from the Let's Party paper collection, which is also from that new catalog. You can see it's obviously kind of got a birthday theme, but I just really loved the colors that were in it. And then I also pulled this blue pattern here is from the Mix-In collection that coordinates so beautifully with all of the other paper packs in the catalog. So I am going to create based on this layout here from Make It From Your Heart Volume 6. This is pattern number 9. And I'm going to take that middle 3x4 photo spot, and that's where I'm going to make my shaker with this thin cut set here. And it's a little bit bigger than a 3x4 size, but I think that that will be okay. So I did want to show you, I have to take my 2 pattern papers here and I have to cut them so that they've got a triangle. And I wanted to show you a little tip for how I did that. First, I did make sure that I had the blue paper going in the direction I wanted because it does have a directional pattern on it. And once I figured that out, then I put it onto my Versamat. And using my T-square ruler, I just found where the center point in that square is. So this is an 11¼ inch square, I believe. So I just came up and found the center point going both ways. I made a little pencil mark. And this just worked really well for me because even though it's not a full 12x12 square, that square is still too big for my ruler to stretch from corner to corner in order to draw that line for me to, cut along. So what I did is I found that center point, and then I was able to put my pencil on it and then move the ruler so that it matched up with the one bottom corner. And then I could put my pencil back on that same mark and slide the ruler up to the top corner. And then that way I have a perfect line that divides my square in half. So it doesn't matter that your ruler is not long enough. You just need to find that halfway point that the line is going to pass through. So then I grabbed my scissors and just cut out carefully along that line. And then, I did use my Rub and Remove eraser just to make sure I didn't have any stray pencil marks still showing on there. And then my square is ready to go, my triangle is ready to go. So I'm just going to kind of do a little practice dry fitting here to make sure that everything looks okay. This pattern does call for 6 2x2 photos. I just had 5, and I thought that in the extra space, I would use that snow mice stamp set and put one of the cute little mice in that spot. And then I did my sanding disc on my little tool here, and I just was scratching across the edge of a bluebird piece of cardstock. That's what I'm going to build my layout on. I really like the look of that when you reveal that white core. Plus, I thought that extra white kind of helps go along with my snowy theme. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start building that shaker piece with my thin cut here. And I did go ahead and cut it out a few different times. I've got it twice in some white cardstock and then once in a pattern piece of paper, which is a little bit flimsy, which is why I did the cardstock as well. And I'm going to glue these 3 pieces together just to give it a little bit more stability. Again, that pattern paper is not quite as thick as a cardstock, and I wanted it to make sure that it had some nice strength to it. Now, I did make a little mistake here because I meant to put my little piece of acetate in between my layers, and I went ahead and glued all 3 and then totally forgot. I'm going to realize it right about here. Wait a minute, Jessica, you forgot this acetate piece. So I'll go ahead and go get another piece of cardstock and cut this frame out one more time. And then I will glue the acetate to the back of that and just sandwich it between the two. So I'm just using some regular tape runner for this. And then this is some acetate that I had gotten from the store. I think it's a Cricut brand, but you could use even like packaging or anything that you have on hand just to create that clear window in the shaker piece. So pull that protective covering off of it. And then I will go ahead and sandwich that last die cut piece on it just to put the whole front together. And then what I did is I kind of measured how big that thin cut piece was, and I cut an extra piece of cardstock for the backing. It's not exact because there are some rounded corners on there, but it's close enough so that way I kind of have a backing to my shaker piece here. I'm going to go ahead and glue my picture to the back of it. And then I will use some regular 3D foam tape just to create the well for all of the sequins and things that I'm going to put inside. Now, I did think about just cutting out a whole bunch of this 3x3 photo frame and stacking it up in order to not use foam tape. But honestly, I think that it would take a lot of cardstock to really get it as thick as it needed to be in order to let those sequins move in there. So foam tape is probably the best way to go. But you just want to make sure that you have completely enclosed where the sequins and the shaker bits are going to go. That way nothing falls out. So I'm just creating that space right there and kind of looking to see where it needs to be at the bottom. I don't want everything to fall down too far past that window, so I'm putting this foam tape over part of my photo that's going to be hidden by that bottom part of the thin cut. So just enough to kind of keep them sitting right there at the bottom of the photo. And then I'm going to use my anti-static pouch just to run it across that acetate piece. It helps to stop the sequins from jumping around and going crazy on you when you're making a shaker piece. And then I had from another die cut set in my stash these tiny little snowflakes. So I cut a few of those tiny snowflakes out, and then I've grabbed some silver stars. And then I still had from long ago some bluebell colored loose sequins. And I thought that the blue sequins worked really well with all of the blues that I had going on in my layout. So I'm just kind of filling in that little well in the center of the foam tape that I've got. And then I will kind of spread it out to make sure that there aren't any big clumps or bumps in there. And then very carefully pull off the protective part of the foam tape so that way I'm ready to stick everything down. And of course, there are always a few sequins that like to jump onto the sticky part there, but we'll go ahead and lay that front piece over the top. And once I've got that front piece on, my shaker part is totally done. Isn't this a fun thing to put on a layout? Especially since, like I said, the kids were hoping for some snow. So now they've got a window with their own little homemade snow inside of it. Okay, that extra 2x2 photo spot that I'm going to do with the mice, I'm just kind of taking a little bit of Bluebird ink and creating a wash of color onto that white square. And then I will use some of the snowflakes from the stamp set to just kind of random stamp a couple of snowflakes to go behind my cute little mouse. Off camera, I did stamp and die cut out 3 of the little mice on there, and I colored them in with my tri-blend markers. Then I'll start putting everything down onto the layout. I really love this design. If you stay tuned to the end of the video, I will actually show you another layout that I created using this exact same pattern. I think it's a really great one for doing a single page, but still including lots of photos. So I'm just kind of placing these top photos here to see exactly where I'm going to have everything go. It does call for putting a title over the top of that left-hand photo, so I want to make sure that I've scooted it down just enough for that. And I'm going to use 2 of the sentiments from the stamp set, the one that says keep calm and wait for snow. And then there's another one that says have a flurry of fun, but I'm going to mask part of that off and just do a flurry of fun. So I think I'm going to put the first one over here just because it's a little bit of a bigger size sentiment, and it's going to go right above my journaling spot, and I'm going to stamp it directly to the page in Bluebird ink. So I'm testing out my stamp first just to make sure, because it's at this point it's a little bit scary because it's going directly to the layout. I want to make sure that I stamp it well. And then, like I said, I masked off part of the other one so that it just says a flurry of fun rather than have a flurry of fun. And then I'll go ahead and put that shaker piece down here in the center spot. And that should be all set. Isn't that so fun? And so when you move the page, it's just like having a shaker card, only it's on a layout instead. I feel kind of bad. I think I overloaded my shaker element piece because I kind of covered my son's face a little bit when everything falls down to the bottom, but that's okay. Okay, and then in my stash, I had these winter acrylic shapes, which I believe are still available, and I will link in the description box down below. I'm just going to scatter a few of those around the page and attach them with some glue dots. And then I'm grabbing my clear shimmer brush to go over all of the snowballs that the mice have, just to kind of give that snow a little bit of extra shine. And then also on the mouse that has the sled down there at the bottom, on her little coat, on the furry, part that goes around her face in the bottom of the coat, I colored all of that in with the clear shimmer brush as well, just to give it some sparkle. So that's really fun. And I think that's going to be just about it. So here is the other layout that I told you about. This is a Halloween one that I made, and same pattern. I really like how you can change out some of those 2x2 photo spots to be, do some stamping there, or I put some die cuts on it with the cute little ghost. Lots of different options, but again, you could get up to 9 photos on this page if you really wanted to. Thank you so much for watching with me today. I will leave links in the description box down below to the other ladies who are playing along with the Twisted Sisters, so you can see what other things people have chosen to show, alternate twisted ways of using from that new January and February catalog. I really appreciate your being here with me today. I hope you're having a good one, and happy crafting. I'll see you next time. Bye.